Let us rise up tonight. Let's pray. Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopeful elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Gotta give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah. The Most High, the Heavenly Father, his Hebrew name is Yahweh, not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Most High, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahaya, not Allah, not Abba. It's Yahweh. And his only begotten son name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shah. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christos, not Yeshaya, not Yehoshua. It's Yahweh Shah. So we got to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rikah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the bishops and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel, whether accepted or not. An essential salutation to all the pushing this truth and believing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world, shedding light to the hopeful elect. Shalom to the Akwath who are listening and learning, ye few sisters who are listening and learning. So coming into another lesson in true faith, faith, and edification, of the day of edification, Lord willing this be edifying. So I titled this lesson, the two hottest topics, the micro C-HIP and World War III. And the reason I titled this, because these two articles I saw when I left the plantation. And this one say, U.S. will be forced into CBDC to keep USDs, which is US dollar reserve currency status. Now, it's a video on this. I'm gonna play some of the video, but I'm gonna read some of the article from the phone. Because every time I go into these type of things now, for some reason, they play with the live, they play with the live screen. So before this, I was praying to Yahweh Shema Shah that they let this flow pretty good. And I don't get no problems from YouTube, from Google. So it say U.S. will be forced into CBDC to keep USD's reserve currency status. And America ain't gonna be forced to nothing, man. And I was gonna title the lesson "Conditioned Through Gradualism." See, everybody else, and this is the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shah have all these other nations pushing the CBDC, which the end result would be the micro C-HIP, and America will be the last. Let me show you the other article that I'm going to use. Here's another article that I'm going to use. It's titled Three Major Countries to Join BRICS Alliance in August. I'm going to show you these two articles I'm going to use. So here's the other one. Three major countries to join BRICS Alliance in August. And the three countries, it's Argentina, when you scroll down, Argentina, Iran, and it's what is it? Arab, the Arabs. Matter of fact, let me and it tell you in Isaiah 13, which you bring this out all the time, that the Arabian shall it said the Arabian shall neither pinch tent there, right? I only want to use United Arab Emirates. Okay, which is Ishmael, the Arabs. These are the three. And then I did a lesson a couple months, but maybe about a month or so ago. Egypt is ditching the dollar, right? So, and that's why I put World War III in the title, because this is going to lead to World War III, man. But I want to go back to this. Just go back to this. I want to go back to this. U.S. is forced with this whole CBCD is CBDC. So let me every time when I just do live screens, I have no problems. But every time I pull up these major, powerful articles, it's always something, man. So what I want to do is I want to play some of this video first, and I'm gonna read the article because this video is from the article. U.S. will be forced with the CBDC thing. So it got infomercials. So bear with me. Bear with me here for a second. All right. So I want to play. I just want to play a few bit.
On the Spot with Michelle McCory is brought to you by Prime XBT.
Its FedNow service later in July. This will be the first government-created platform to help banks transfer money in real time. It's similar to what the private sector has created through apps like Venmo and Cash App that send funds almost instantly. And the Fed says that with FedNow, businesses and individuals will be able to send and receive instant payments at any time of day, and recipients will have full access to funds immediately, giving them greater flexibility to manage their money and make time-sensitive payments. So it sounds good, it sounds efficient, but there are those warning that this will essentially lay the groundwork for facilitating a CBDC, or central bank digital currency. Now, the Fed has said that FedNow is not related to a digital currency, that it has made no decision on issuing a CBDC, and that it would be an authorizing law. So what is a CBDC? Well, generally speaking, a central bank digital currency is the digital form of a country's fiat currency. A CBDC is issued and regulated by a nation's monetary authority or central bank. It is programmable, so can be modified to work or not work in certain transactions, and it allows authorities to monitor every single payment made and received, obliterating financial privacy and anonymity. Now, supporters of CBDCs claim that they will prevent money laundering, prevent and deter criminal activities, and will improve the speed and security of transactions, and can be used to fine-tune monetary policy and allow for financial inclusion. Critics, however, warn that CBDCs are the ultimate tool of control, censorship, and surveillance. And my next guest certainly agrees with the critics. He says that CBDCs were concocted in hell by Satan himself. Rich Checkin is the president and chief operating officer of Asset Strategies International. He's an expert on precious metals and currency markets. Rich, welcome back to Kitka. Good to have you with us.
No, it wasn't concocted by Satan. This is prophecy. This is the will of the Heavenly Father Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, man. Revelations 13. When we listen to Noah Yuval Harari, or however the name pronounced, maybe saying it different. Noah Yuval Harari, or Yuvari Harari, Noah, whatever, however the name pronounced, in whatever form, in whatever three parties. Listen, when we listen to Noah Yuval Harari, and when we listen to this guy Klaus Schwab about carbon footprint, right? Tracking your food, what you buy, from the soil to the fork, tracking your food. It's all summed up in Revelation 13, man. Okay? It's all summed up in Revelation 13. He calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark. All of that is described in that one precept, man. And it's many precepts. You got Isaiah 36:6. Those that trust in Egypt, right? They shall lean on, it shall go into their hands and pierce them. Also in 1 Timothy 6, it said those that have the love of money and they have erred through the faith and pierced themselves through many sorrows. One of those piercings is taking the micro C help. So when they say they want to track you, all that is summed up, the carbon footprint. All this is the CBDCs. This is all summed up in Revelations 13, man. The Lord won't got to be super deep. Like we always talk about, the Lord said don't eat pork. The Lord didn't have to tell us it got parasites in it. No, it just simply don't eat it. Revelation 13 and 16 and 17 sums up everything about the micro C hill with carbon footprint, CBDCs. It's in Revelations 13 and 16, man. Just finna listen to this. I just want to listen to a little bit of this, and I'm gonna read some from the article. So it say this video comes from this. U.S. will be forced into a CBDC to keep USD's reserve currency. No, the elite control both sides of everything, man. Yahweh Shema Shai put the spirit in these bastards to do this. America ain't gonna be forced into nothing. America gonna be the last one to do this. All the other nations is doing it. Let's listen to a little bit. Let's listen to a little bit of this.
Oh, it's great to be back. Thanks, Michelle, for having me.
Rich, good to have you with us, and we will certainly elaborate on your very strong opinion about CBDCs. But before we get to that, let's start with FedNow. There's still no specific date when it will exactly be launched, expected later this month. But the Fed did announce that we've got 57 firms certified to use this new instant payment system, 41 banks, 15 service providers on the list, including industry leaders like JP Morgan Chase, Bank of New York, Largo, big names there. So, Rich, help us understand why the Fed is doing this. What is the advantage for the Fed in launching FedNow?
Well, there are several advantages. You know, it all started back last year, March of 2022, with Executive Order 14067 signed by President Biden. And basically, they were talking about cryptocurrencies in general, and they outlined a whole bunch of provisions that they're looking to protect the citizenry and businesses and financial markets through a thorough analysis of cryptocurrencies and their impact on society. And in the end, the very last bullet was to explore U.S. central bank digital currencies. They followed that up after a year's worth of work on this effort, early spring, February, March of this year, April, and they came out and they said, listen, in July, we're going to launch FedNow. And this is a new payment system. It's, get the verbiage right on this thing, it's what we call a real-time gross settlement system, much like FedWire, similar to Fed ACH. It's just a method of payment. Of course, like you, that got my inbox of emails overflowing with ads every day saying this is the end of the world, this is the start of CBDCs, and it's coming on July 31st. We don't know exactly when it's coming. It's coming sometime in July. You're right, there's a lot of early adopters that are out there with some big names involved.
Okay, but explain why the Fed is doing this. What is the advantage for the Fed and for the banks and the participants behind this? Is this purely an efficiency play? What is the reasoning that the Fed has put forward behind this initiative?
I think that's part of it. You know, part of it is financial access for the unbanked. From a government standpoint, I think that's, or underbanked for from a government standpoint, I think that's important. Let's face it, if you're a politician and you make the financial sector and financial services available to more people that didn't have it in the past, you probably just garnered some more votes. I think that's important from a government standpoint. From the U.S. standpoint, it's about the global lead in this effort. Let's face it, worldwide, they're exploring, central banks around the world are exploring central bank digital currencies. And where would we be as a leader in financial markets? Where would we be with financial dominance in the global economy if we didn't have a hand in that development? There are efficiencies, no question, about domestic and cross-border payments. The costs drop through the floor, the speed and the timing and the locations where transactions initiate and end can happen in the blink of an eye, 24/7, 365 a year. So that's obviously very positive. That's very positive from a global business standpoint to be able to transact and settle so quickly. And, again, I think it's one step closer to a central bank digital currency. And I think, for the current world's reserve currency, I think it's important to have that lead role. I think I told you off air, I'm a big fan of FedNow. I don't like the fact that I think it's a slippery slope that leads to the evil of CBDCs.
Okay, and we're definitely going to get you to mouth off on why you think CBDCs are so evil, and certainly many agree with you. I certainly have very, very strong concerns and reservations about CBDCs. But before we get to that, I do want to expand on this idea that FedNow is potentially laying the railway down for this, laying the groundwork, if you will, because the Fed has said that FedNow is not related to a digital currency. This is all on their website. They've said that they've made no decision on issuing a CBDC, that would only proceed with an authorizing law. We do know that Fed Chair Jerome Powell told the House Financial Services Committee in March that issuing a CBDC is something that Congress would need to vote on, that it would require congressional approval. And as this launch has neared, the Fed has issued statements saying the FedNow service is neither a form of currency nor a step toward eliminating any form of payment, including cash. Now, some could say the Fed is protesting a little too much here, but why is this igniting concern that this is laying the railways to a CBDC?
It's the building block on which a CBDC would follow, plain and simple. So, you can't have a central bank digital currency unless you have a blockchain distributed ledger mechanism in order to implement your CBDC down the road. It is the first step. It is the cornerstone, if you will, for a central bank digital currency. And that's why a lot of people are protesting. I will tell you that you're absolutely correct. In this country, in the US, you must have the authority of law to make this change to our currency. There's no question about it. You can't go cashless without it. It does require the input of Congress. It does require the acceptance from the executive branch. All those are elected positions. And that's why a lot of people feel this is several years down the line. This is not tomorrow. It's not July 31st. But the cornerstone is being laid now. And the time to look forward to what that means to us and the implications and whether or not we can block that or structure them in a way that are more suitable for freedom-loving citizens, I think is now. We have to be looking at this now, not later.
Yeah, no, absolutely have to be vigilant and aware of what this could possibly mean. And now, even if FedNow is not part of the overall CBDC master plan, as the Fed contends, but we do know, as you mentioned, that a CBDC is being explored. You mentioned how President Biden in March of 2022 issued that executive order 14067, which facilitates the development of digital assets, including CBDCs. We know that the Treasury has confirmed that it's leading an interagency working group to study a potential US CBDC. And we know that the Federal Reserve Bank of New York launched a CBDC pilot program with 9 major US financial institutions like HSBC, like Citi, to explore the feasibility of a US central bank digital currency. So they're certainly looking at it. It's not clear where we are in terms of development, but being actively explored. So help us understand why you think it's so important to be aware of this now and to start raising major opposition to this concept. Last time we spoke, you basically called a CBDC the spawn of Satan. Why are you so vehemently opposed to a CBDC, Rich?
Well, I do see the positives. I'm not immune to that. I'm not blinded to that. I do know that it can help combat money laundering. And by the way, the positives are the ways they will be sold to us as citizenry. It's how they will get us to adopt it. Combat money laundering, combat tax evasion. On the flip side, help.
Now, let me say this. Esau was a crafty bastard, man. Just like the precept the brother put up in Habakkuk 2, right? It talks about him being greedy. He can never have enough. I did a lesson a few years ago on these guys that call them Jakes, that call themselves V12 boys, right? They ride in Lambos, Ferraris, and they make like 500 million. Or they say they make like $500,000 a year, they said. They call it V12. I reposted the video. I'm gonna have to repost it again. They call themselves the V12 boys. You got dope boys out here. You got Jake that make money and ain't paying no taxes, man. See, Esau is a greedy bastard, man. Now, this is all the prophets of Yahweh Shema Bashar. But Esau want to be able, the same way how they cornered the weed market, and now they got dispensaries, and you can just get your license and go get you some bud. You don't got to go to this second and third party man and go get you some reefer. You can go to the dispensaries and pay whatever. Maybe they give you a deal, maybe they won't. But when you go to the street pharmacists, that's money that's not being tracked. Okay? When you go into the street pharmacies, that's money that's not being tracked. Esau want to track everything. Everything. That's what this is about, man. He's a greedy bastard and he can never have enough. But they put it in ways to make you feel like, okay, this make more sense for this to be done this way. Listen to this. Now, this video is from this article. The article, again, is titled, U.S. will be forced into a CBDC to keep USD's reserve currency status, which is not true. So, it's a CBDC could be inevitable in the U.S. due to the rising pressure on the greenback to remain the dominant reserve currency. It reads, from the U.S. standpoint, it's about the global lead in this effort. Chekun saying, which is this guy, his name is Chekun. Listen, it say there are 130 countries, which I did a lesson on this about a week or two, maybe 3 weeks ago. There are 130 countries exploring a CBDC, and the U.S. doesn't want to be left behind. That's a real concern for our leaders, he noted. And he's going to mention the video is 40 minutes. The U.S. has benefited from being the world's reserve currency, with the rest of the world buying American debt. That's what the petrodollar has done. And that's why Obadiah 1 and 7 say they have ate thy bread. Let me read it. Let me finish reading this. It said the U.S. has benefited from being the world's reserve currency, with the rest of the world buying American debt. It has a big impact on our standard of living, and if it goes away, our standard of living will suffer, Chekun said. And with the de-dollarization trend gaining speed, central banks worldwide hold fewer reserves in the US dollars, preferring gold and other currency. See, it say there are two things that we're doing that are driving people away from dollars. It's a mismanaging the dollar, and we weaponizing it, he said. And the head brother said this Saturday. Esau has weaponized the dollar, man. Hey, it said the West freezing nearly half of Russia's 640 billion of gold and Forex reserves last year has triggered a shift, encouraging many other countries to look for an alternative to the US dollar. Hold on. Let's read this line again. The West, America, Babylon the Great, freezing nearly half of Russia's 640 billion of gold in Forex, which America and China own the most gold now. It's a reserves last year has triggered a shift. What is the shift? It tell you in Ezekiel 38 that Russia is going to be a guard to the other nations. So now the other nations looking at what America doing to Russia. Let's read this again. The West, freezing nearly half of Russia's 640 billion of gold and Forex reserve last year, have triggered a shift, encouraging many other countries to look for an alternative to the US dollar. It's at 130 countries. Guess where they going? 130. Now, when you go to UN, it's 193 nations that's joined to North America, Babylon the Great, Basra, Uz, whatever you want to call it, the rulership of the elites, the so-called white man. 130. There's 193 nations joined to America through the UN. So if 130 of them is looking for an alternative, what are they going to do? Thus saith the scriptures, they're going to join the BRICS nations. Okay? They're going to join the BRICS nations. It say the negatives of CBDCs are overwhelming, including total government control of the populace noted. The biggest one for me is just a complete loss of individual privacy. There is no financial privacy with the CBDC, he said. And what do they at least want to do? They want to carbon footprint you. It's also CBDCs are programmable and can be used to control how the money is being spent. Duh. If you control the money, you control the people. And what did this guy say? Man, if one of you brothers can get it, put it on the comment board. What did he say? What they say? Whoever controls the money controls the people. He's quoting what Maya Angelou Bauer said, man. It say, if you control the money, you control the people. And there are no doubt in my mind that a lot of central banks around the world are looking at this as a means of control of the populace, he added. This is the guy on the screen you see with this right here, this Edomite. He's red. He ain't white neither. Both of them, look at him, Edomite. You see him? Yeah. This is him. I'm just reading it, so we don't gotta watch the video. Now, let's go to this. Hold on, let's play a little bit more of this.
You get your tax refunds quicker. They probably won't talk about collecting your taxes quicker, but they'll talk about getting your tax refunds to you quicker. It'll reinforce American financial leadership. It'll be real-time settlement, like I said, 24/7. There will be incredible cost savings. There'll be time savings, and time is money. There'll be inclusion of the or underbanked, and that will get more benefits and entitlements in their hands quicker for those in need. But the negatives for me are just so overwhelming. It's increased government control. There's no two ways about it. They will have complete and utter control over your finances through your CBDC account. It will be increased regulation, and we don't have to get into political affiliations, et cetera. But I just look over time, and I don't see a lot of areas where government regulation has tended to reduce costs or sped up a process in the long run. It could have an impact on the banking sector. They talk about disintermediation, which is a really big word that basically just says we're going to cut out the middleman. If all
See?
these people have access to
That's
their
what I was just saying. When you discreets, Esau, remember Michael Vick? Remember he was fighting dogs. Esau want to know. We can account for Mike Vick's money, right? Who is these other niggas? Who are these other people that was with him fighting dogs? Who are they? This is what Esau want to know. Because if Michael Vick was fighting dogs, he wasn't fighting dogs with other NFL players. So who was he fighting dogs with? It was street niggas that had street money that ain't getting taxed, man. Okay? Esau is a greedy bastard, man. He's greedy. So it wasn't about Mike Vick fighting dogs. For you people in the world that don't know what really going on behind the scenes, who was he with that was fighting dogs with him? It was street niggas that's getting dope money, that's sliding good in the world, and they ain't paying taxes. Esau need to tax that. Every last part of it, man. Cutting out the middleman, just like one about some bud. Now you can go to a dispensary, get your license, go to a dispensary. What does that do? That shuts down those that's in the streets selling bud. Even though you get the bud cheaper from street guys, okay? But Esau is a cunning hunter. He's a crafty bastard. He's a greedy little bastard, man. He can never have enough. So he's cutting out. So you gotta come to him, man. That's for everything. Cause he's the biggest drug dealer. The CVS's and the Walgreens open 24/7, man. Okay, but that dope boy on the street, he go to sleep. Esau's a crafty, cunning hunter, man.
CBDC accounts and crypto or the CBDC access, they don't need the bank. You get rid of the middleman and go straight. They're looking to that at the potential of a massive migration of wealth out of the banks, and where does that leave the banking sector going forward? And the biggest one for me is just the complete loss of individual privacy. There's no financial privacy with the CBDC, and you can just dig through your emails and you'll see.
Okay, beautiful. The brother put that up. This is Kazak Banyahawda. He put up, who controls the food supplies controls the people. Who controls the energy can control who controls the energy can control whole continents. Who controls money can control the world. The water up. Who controls money controls the world. Hearing Kissinger, man. The water, brother. The water. See? The Edomite, man.
All the people talking about the horrors of what could be. And, you say to yourself, listen.
Well, I think that was Mayim Shabbat who said, who control the laws? Is who control the law? If you know, when you rather put that up. Whoever write policy, who make the laws, control the world. And I think, I don't know if it was Socrates that said, I forgot the quote, but I used to look it up all the time because the apostles used to bring it out all the time. You know who controlled the world when you find out that who you can't speak about. That's another
benevolent government. It's a wonderful country. They're going to do the right things, but a lot of times the best intentions turn into horrible loss of civil liberties, civil rights, and once they're gone, they never come back.
The scripture talks about. We know that it ain't gonna do no good because it said the brother posted up. It's Ecclesiastes 14. Okay, it said he's a nigga at his own table, man. He ain't gonna do no good, man. And if he do good, he do it unwillingly. In Ecclesiastes 14, starting at verse 5, man. They ain't gonna do good, man. Because he's a nigga at his own table. Table represents everything, resources. We bring this out almost every week, man. The Edomites, why is there homeless Edomites in America when they have white privilege and generational wealth? People own all the resources. It shouldn't be not one homeless white person in America, man. But yet it is. But why? Because he's a nigger. It said he's envious at himself. He's envious at what he got, man. He is not satisfied with his portion in Ecclesiastes 14, man. So let me get this next article because I want to read some of this. Because he basically said everything that was in the article. I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to read it from the phone. Because Esau's a crafty, cunning bastard. And every time I use these articles, these bastards mess with my live screen. When I'm just doing a regular screaming, they don't mess with it. Now, this is titled 3 Major Countries to Join BRICS Alliance in August. So I'm going to read some of this. I'm going to get a couple precepts. I don't want to make it too long. I just saw these when I left the plantation. And I was just like, man. Kala Yabashim Shah. It reads, the BRICS Alliance has a busy month ahead of them. The annual BRICS Summit is scheduled for the opening week of August. Many things will be on the agenda for discussion, including a new currency, Russia's current war in Ukraine, and expansions. Many countries globally have filed applications to join BRICS. And we know this because it was written in the scriptures first that in Ezekiel 38 that Russia shall be a guard to the other nations. So in the other article, it said how these nations is looking for an alternative to ditching the dollar. Well, Russia will be the alternative. This is the guard in Ezekiel 38, man. We don't, and you got these slow-bellied niggas, GMSU articles. You dumb niggas. The Lord had the so-called white man to create the World Wide Web so we can use articles. Why? Because it was written in the scriptures first. So we are filtering what's in the news, what's in the articles that was already written in the scriptures, man. You slow-bellied niggas. Let's read this again. Many countries globally have filed applications to join BRICS with others sharing an interest in joining or participating in BRICS New Development Bank. Here are 3 of the new likely countries to join the BRICS Alliance this August. And I showed you. I'm going to read it. It say, Argentina has taken significant strides toward joining BRICS. In particular, Argentina has pushed de-dollarization efforts by ditching the US dollar for the Chinese yuan. Last month, the country was reportedly told by the NDB would vote on the country's introduction into the bank in August. Argentina may be one of the favorites to join Brazil as the only 2 South American countries in BRICS. We'll have to wait to hear about the votes and find out if Argentina is in or out. Number 2, Iran. It's our monitor reported last month that Iran was in attendance at the Brown South Africa joining BRICS, including submitting and see, he started messing with the screen now because I'm reading this. It's a Chang Hong said that China supports Iran's entry into the BRICS bloc. Hence, Iran already has a foot in the door of the BRICS alliance. And again, who took down the ancient Babylonian Empire? It was the Medes and the Persians. Persians is Iran. The Medes would be Russia. There is nothing new under the sun. Number 3, United Arab Emirates. The UAE's inclusion in BRICS expands the alliance economic potential, giving power to challenge the US dollar. The UAE is a significant economic player in the Gulf region and boasts a diversified economy. The economy is built by sectors like oil and gas, finance, trade, tourism, and logistics. The UAE is easily a favored nation to join BRICS upon potential expansion in August alongside Iran and Argentina. With these three countries set to potentially join the alliance, BRICS will grow its power and influence in the world and may achieve its goal of de-dollarization sooner than anticipated. What? We don't need America. We don't need America. Screw America. Babylon the Great. The point with United Arab Emirates. This is Isaiah. We keep telling you, Salakia, the apostles been telling you. The apostles been telling you this for a long time, man. A long time, man. Isaiah 13. Isaiah 13. Yeah, let's read verse 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which should not regard silver, and as for gold, they should not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men in pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall spare, their eye shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. What's here in America right now? Sodom and Gomorrah. You got everybody slide on the rainbow now, man. There's a rainbow slide. You can just go get right on it and slide. Pick a color. Yeah, go slide on the rainbow. Just say, it shall neither be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian, who? United Arab Emirates, shall neither pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherd make their foes there. These nations are separated from Babylon the Great. It was already written. Obadiah 1 and 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. This Obadiah 1:7 is a future prophecy of what's about to happen. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. What does that mean? They'll fight. It's time to go to war. I'm gonna read, let's read this real quick. I'm gonna come back. Joel 2 and 20. Let's read this. The Lord said he's going to remove from Babylon the Great their army. This is them being drawn to the border by the other nations. Joel 2 and 20. But I will remove far off from you the northern army, America's army. They already spread it thin now because you got America defending Taiwan from China, America defending Ukraine from Russia, America got to defend Israel from Iran. That spread it thin. That's a problem. It tell you in Habakkuk 1 and 6. The horsemen shall spread themselves, The Roman Empire did it. They fell the same way. America is the revived Roman Empire. But I will remove far off from you the northern army, and do what, Lord? And will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with its face towards the east sea, the Persian Gulf, and his hinder part towards the utmost sea, the Red Sea, and his stink shall come up, and his ill savor, ill meaning sick, vile, filthy, stink, and his ill savor shall come up. Why, Lord? Because he have done great things. Babylon the Great have done great things, which is horrible. Wickedness. Their sins have reached unto the heavens, man. Back in Obadiah 1 and 7. He's going to remove the northern army to do what? All the men of that confederacy have brought thee even to the border to take your nasty, KB's, smelly, wet, Edomite ass to fight, man. All the men of that confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and eat thy bread. What's that mean? Everybody had to get on the petrodollar. You either got down with America's petrodollar or you die like Gaddafi. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee and there is none understanding in him. Man, can't make this up, man. Revelation 17 and 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. The 10 horns are the EU nations, man. The original 10 horns, I had to get it off my tablet. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. You had Denmark, Franks, Luxembourg, Sueves, Visigoths. Let me see if I can get it real quick. See if I can pull up on the phone because I got it in my tablet, but I can't quote them all. I think I quoted maybe about 6 or 7. Let's see. So we got Denmark, you got Belgium, Luxembourg, let's just read all of these. Countries in EU and EEA. Let's read them. It say Australia, Belgium, Bulgaria, Croatia, Republic of Czech, Republic Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Ireland, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Spain, Sweden. These are the what would be the new modern name, the new modern names. Let me see if I can pull. I want to get the old EU. I want to get the old names. Hold on. Let's see if it'll come out like this. As a matter of fact, hold on. I don't even feel like going through all that. So you got those original 10, because you got NATO. Then you got the original 10 of the EU. So the original 10 is Germans, Swiss, French. So let's read the old names. It say Germans would be the alumni, the Burgundians, Franks, Lombards, Saxons, Sueves, which is Portuguese, which they got Portugal on. I just read Visigoths, Hurley, which is be they done away the Ostrogoths and the Vandals, the Hurley, Ostrogoths and Vandals they done away with. Those are 3. So it's the Visigoths to be the Spanish, Suevi be the Portuguese, Saxon be English, Lombards to be Italians, Franks to be French, Burgundies, Burgundians will be Swiss, and you had the Alemanni will be the Germans. These was the original 10. Those are the original 10. EU. The old was called EEC, what is called the European Economic Community, but now it's the EU. Same names, just they form different. So it's again, let's go back to this. Revelations 17 and 16. It reads, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, EU, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So as I tied the lesson, the 2 hottest topics, the micro sea hip and World War III, because these nations separating from North America is going to bring World War III, man. Right. This is what I wanted. This is what I wanted, bro. That's why I said my Michelle Bauer. This is because I want you to give me control of a nation's money supply, and I care not who make its laws said Maya Amshaw Rothschild. Right, that's what I wanted. The water, bro. The water. I remember him saying that, man. He set out his 5 sons to set up these central banks, man. Hold on. In Genesis 36, how many sons did Esau have? 5. How many sons Maya Bauer had? 5. Who is this? The Edomites. Can't make this up. Can't make this up, man. 5 sons Esau had. Go in Genesis 36 and read about them. Yeah, 5 sons. Mayim Shabbat had 5 sons, man. And they set up, and that's why every war is called Baker's Wars, man. It's the elites, man. The Lord, Yahweh Shema Bashar, got the spirit in these bastards to program you, to persuade you, to condition you, 2/3 niggas, to take that micro C up, man. While everybody else outside of Great Millstone talking about it's everything else but the micro C here. These Edomites sat right down a live show and told you they want to track your food. They want to track you. And these niggas still talk about the micro C here is everything else but what the apostles of Great Millstone, according to the scriptures, say it is. They ain't telling you some of the better niggas out here, and they gonna come to you looking for them answers, and they ain't gonna have them, man. Here we go. Here we go. Esau playing with my computer. Let me hurry up and close up, man. My whole screen just went black for a second. See, it's all good. All you out there talking that garbage about the micro C here, man. The Lord is making this plain. Revelation 17 and 16, and the 10 horns thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. With what? Them ICBMs, them intercontinental ballistic missiles. Verse 17. But this is the cold part. And God have put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of God shall be fulfilled. This is about the elect being sealed, and then destruction is going to happen, man. Once the elect gets sealed, Jacob's trouble, micro C will be made mandatory, or the micro C will be made mandatory. Jacob's trouble, World War III, man. Because that's when it's really gonna be trouble out here, when that micro C will be made mandatory, and you can't buy no food, man. And you can't eat, man. The 2 hottest topics, the micro C have been made mandatory, and they talking about U.S. Let's read this again. They talking about U.S. What they said? Let's read it again. U.S. will be forced into a CBDC to keep USD's reserve currency status. No, man. America ain't being forced into nothing, man. The Lord is using America will be last. The Lord is saving the best for last, man. So all these other countries jumping on the bandwagon with the BRICS, because America gonna be destroyed, man. The Lord is saving the best for last. Look at America, man. Apostle Tahar just doing a lesson. You see what's going on? Do you see that this place is a third world country right now, man? You see Skid Row, tent cities. We see that every weekend downtown Orlando, man. And I'm sure you brothers and sisters out there see that in your cities, man. They up on the bridges, they everywhere, man. And these people that's in these tents that's living up on the bridges, they wasn't homeless. They had good jobs, families, okay, mortgages, car notes, insurance, man. Yeah. And where they at? They pilgrims on the earth right now, man. Well, that's gonna be each and every one of us, man. Being pilgrims on the earth. The separation, the difference is those that have the hope in Yahweh Shema Shai, and those that hope things gonna get back better. It's gonna get back better, man. That's following the philosophy of the so-called white man, thinking that it's gonna get back better. Hey, normal isn't coming back. Yahweh Shai is, man. Okay? Normal isn't coming back. Destruction and death and Yahweh Shai is coming back, man. 3 major countries to join BRICS alliance in August. And this according to the prophecies, man. The Lord set up the Baal, Gog and Magog, to show how strong they is. So the other nations can be like, and I mention this all the time. You got a bully at the school. He been taking your lunch money and 20 other people's lunch money. And nobody standing up to this guy. But then one day, some guy come out the blue. And then you see this. You see the bully walk up to this guy because he knew at the school. And he be like, hey, give me your lunch money. And the guy be like, man, I ain't giving you nothing, man. You're going to have to take it. And the bully be like, oh, yeah? Okay. And he try to take the money. But then this guy put them hands on his ass, man. Or you don't even go that far. Because sometimes that I done seen in my lifetime, you can buy a nigga wolf ticket, man. Niggas sell wolf tickets, man. And I used to be one of them ones, I'ma buy it, man. You got niggas at school, they talk all that trash, but when you really show them you bought, hey, let's throw these hands. What it do? A nigga will back up. That means you bought a nigga wolf ticket. Nigga selling tickets, you gotta be ready to buy it, man. So this bully step up to this one guy one day, and everybody that the bully always taking money from, they looking. So the bully be like, yo, let me get your money. The one guy may say, no, I ain't give you nothing, man. You're gonna have to take it. That's all it take for a man to see that another man wouldn't stand up for his, and he'll back down, man. So then the guys that saw that you've been taking the money from, be like, hold on, you've been taking our money, but you ain't gonna take his. And he may be smaller than the other guys. That puts energy in them to say, hold on, we need to get with this guy right here and see what he know. Maybe he knows some judo. maybe he knows some jiu-jitsu. We need to find out what he know that made the bully back off from him. That's what the Lord did with Russia, man. He's a guard to the other nations, man. Russia, and we were talking about this Saturday camp. Them Edomites in Russia, them bastards on heavy vodka, and they running through shit, man. They ain't backing down to these weak ass American Edomites, man. They on vodka, man, and they running through shit, man. Straight up. Them ain't no weak Edomites over there, man. Them Russian Edomites, if they ready, man, they running through you, man. So the Lord set up Edomites to go against Edomites. Remember the French, the Spanish, and the British? Remember Alexander, right? Remember his 4 generals, right? Cassandra, Lysimachus, Ptolemy, and can't think of this guy's name. The other one, the worst one, and tonight, and I can't think of his name. You know what I'm talking about? The one that put the 7 sons to death horribly. Antiochus. So you had Antiochus, Cassandra, Lysimachus, and Ptolemy. Right? They was fighting against themselves. Edomite on Edomite, man. Just like the French, the Spanish, and the British trying to colonize America, man. Well, the Lord have set up one of these Edomites that ain't even going. They on vodka and they running through you, man. They running through everybody else. So the other nations like, okay, we rolling with him, man. What we got to do to get on your team? And then say everybody done put in applications, and they waiting, man. So this is prophecy of Yahweh Shema Shah. World War III is brewing up because these nations. What's going to be left? If these nations leaving America, joining the BRICS, what's going to be left? Nothing but shoot missiles. But it's the Lord. And let me say this: remember, the elites control all of this, man. Yahweh Shema Shah gave the power to the elites to persuade the world through conditioning and gradualism. So don't be no fool. Don't be no fool. This is all playing out to bring about the micro C hill. This is all playing out to bring about the micro C hill. Because guess what? The elites controls all of this. All of it, man. Remember that. The elites control all of this, man. But this is tactics to make the rest of the people of the world, through conditioning, through gradualism, that this is the best way to go, man. Oh, that this is the only way to go, or you're going to be left out, like it said in Revelation 13, man. Okay? You ain't going to have nothing. You're going to be, what they call it, when you watch the movie Demolition Man, those that was underground, what Sylvester Stallone said, he said, this is a rat burger. It don't taste that bad. You're going to be the outcast, man. But it's all prophecy, though. So, Lord was edifying. Got to give all praise, honor, and glory to you. How it's 441. That's the spirit. 144 from right to left. It's 441 right now. That's 144 from right to left. So got to give all praise, honor, and glory to you. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Bahashim Rikah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the bishop as a great millstone who well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel, ready accepted or not. In the sincere salutation to all the I can push in this truth and believing in this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world shedding light to the hopeful elect. Shalom to the Akwa who are listening and learning. If you sisters who are listening and learning. Hey, the water tuning in. May Yahweh Shema Shah continue to bless you in your houses. Stay prayed up. May the blessing of election be upon your houses. And I could have read Revelation 13 and 16, but we all know it. We are showing this is prophecies playing out, man, on live news, man, on articles. Revelation 13, tracking carbon footprint, tracking you. Revelation 13, man, sums it all up. The Lord is simple, man. And tell you when I was in Psalms 19 and 7, he made wise the simple. We know what it is, man. We don't need the so-called white man validation for nothing. We don't need you slow-belly other camps for nothing, man. We got our spiritual fathers, which are four of them, the apostles of Great Millstone. We have spiritual uncles in Great Millstone, man. We don't need the so-called white man validation. We don't need none of you dumb camps validation on nothing, man. At least you repent, the Lord gonna kill all you slow-belly niggas, man. And you lying to your congregation. Again in Micah 3, it said the congregation gonna turn on these false prophets and they're gonna devour them, man. Till next time I say Shalom, Wa or Baba. Hey, the wife tuning in. The wife follow your precepts too. Shalom.